Tinubu receives 3 African counterparts. Political and security situations in some ECOWAS member states top discussions.
We believe we are capable of raising necessary funds to combat terrorism and insecurity in the region.
Extrajudicial killings. House of Representatives seeks investigation of cases across the country.
Most of the law enforcement agencies, they are advised to have their active duty personnel.
First Lady unveils renamed Mariam Babangida Center, describes it as a symbol of women emancipation.
The Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development carries a profound message of inspiration and aspiration for Nigerian women.
Hello and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello and joining me from Lagos is Adeola Komiakiri. Remember, you can join this broadcast live on our website www.nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. And on subsidy palliative, the federal government has explained that 8,000 naira cash program is not the only measure in the relief package to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. A statement from the Presidential Advisor on Special Duties, Communication and Strategy, Dila Alake, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a listening leader who has vowed to always put Nigerians at the heart of his policy and program, the President has directed that the 8,000 naira conditional cash transfer program vulnerable households be reviewed immediately. In difference to the view expressed by Nigerians against it, the President also directed that the whole gamut of palliative package of government be unveiled to Nigerians and also directed the immediate release of fertilizers and grains to approximately 50 million farmers and households in all the 36 states and the FCT. The President further assures Nigerians that the 500 billion approved by Parliament to cushion the pain occasioned by the end of the subsidy regime will be judiciously utilized, with the beneficiaries being Nigerians, irrespective of their ethnic, religious or political affiliation. The statement restated President Bola Tinubu's irrevocably committed promise to always prioritize the well-being of Nigerians, and that a number of decisions taken so far by this administration have buttressed this stance. It cited a similar decision taken by the President after listening to complaints from the business community stakeholders about burdensome taxes, particularly multiplicity of taxes they are made to experience, which warranted the signing of 4 executive orders cancelling some classes of taxes while suspending the implementation dates of others. The President also set up a tax reform fiscal policy committee to bring up recommendations that will engender a wholesome fiscal environment for the country and remove anti-business barriers. The statement assures Nigerians that President Tinubu will continue to be the listening leader whose ears will not be dull to the views expressed by the citizenry, as he believes government exists to cater for the interest of the people. Motorists woke up to a new petrol pump price of 617 naira at NNPC limited retail stations across the country. For most motorists, this may mean higher price from independents and major marketers. To this effect, petrol queues had resurfaced in stations still selling at 540 naira per litre. Lydia Sampson has the situation report.
A visit to most petrol stations indicates that motorists, in a bid to quickly buy at the old price, rush to petrol stations still selling at 540 naira per litre.
It's bad and it's hurting.
Formerly, we consume 200,000 a month, but now we are talking of millions. And the cost of running the office is not okay for us.
And before, I've been filling my car before 537 naira. At the rate of 13,500. We are buying now 30-something thousand naira for my car now.
I'm not surprised because it can happen. Last week they said they don't add fuel to 700, but they deny it. But now actually it's happened.
My take is I don't know when NNPC are the one regulating our fuel now. If it is market forces, are other marketers also selling like that? I don't know.
This morning we wake up, then they give us information that we should change the price by 617. So actually we don't know what is happening. So whenever they give us the go ahead, we reduce it. When they say we should increase, we should increase.
How much are you buying per litre now at this NNPC?
617. When market forces is supposed to reduce, that one they will not reduce it. It's only the increase they normally comply with.
At the time of filing in this report, it was observed that though only NNPC limited stations are selling at 617 naira per litre, most stations are also on the verge of changing their pump prices. While others have changed to 617 on their pump, the old price is still on display. Subsidy is gone, and in a deregulated market, products are sourced by marketers while calculating their margin. Expert says they are at liberty to sell at a reasonable price to make profit and sustain availability. The government agency hitherto responsible for regulating price is the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, though removal of subsidy has stripped NMDPRA of the right to regulate the price. It, however, has a moral responsibility to protect consumers from exploitation. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
And meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says the increase in the price of PMS is as a result of market realities, making sure that the market regulates itself. Group Managing Director of the NNPC Limited said this while briefing State House correspondents.
What I know is that the market forces will regulate the market. Prices will go down sometimes it will go up, but there will be stability of supply, and I'm also assuring Nigerians that this is the best way to go forward so that we can adjust prices when market comes. I don't have the details this moment, but I know that our marketing wing acts. I know that a number of companies have imported petroleum products today, PMS. So many of them are online, I'm sure.
Pricing, as a regulator, we are not going to put a cap on the price because we are not part of those importing. We are not a marketing company, we are just a regulator. So when you say market forces are working, basically what it is that you can see the price of crude going up. A couple of week or so ago, the price of crude was hovering around $70 per barrel. Now it's hovering about $80 per barrel. So of course, the crude price also drives the product price. You know, because the importers are importing, they are basing it on the cost of importation plus the freight, plus other cost elements in terms of local distribution.
The pump price was increased from 540 naira per litre to 617 naira. Now, to strengthen bilateral ties, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, is reviewing the political and security situations in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. This is coming after a closed-door meeting of President Tinubu, his counterparts from Benin, Niger, and Guinea-Bissau, with the ECOWAS Commission President at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports.
The three African presidents were received on arrival by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa and went into a closed-door session. ECOWAS Commission President Omar Aliyu said the main thrust of the meeting is to take decision on the political and security situations in the West African sub-region.
The leaders have reviewed the political and the security situation in the sub-region of West Africa. Regarding the political situation in the sub-region, the leaders have reviewed the transition in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea.
The leaders agreed to re-engage the three countries at the highest level, which will be led by the Benin Republic President, Patrice Talon.
That mission will be undertaken shortly.
The leaders reaffirmed their commitment to expeditious transition to democratic rule in the three countries in accordance with ECOWAS protocols.
The response shall also include the use of specific arrangements, such as specific models of peace and security.
I have no problem raising funds, and we have all the instrumentalities to do that. So concerning our design and engineering of our own finances, we believe we are capable of raising necessary funds to combat terrorism and insecurity in the region.
The meeting also resolved to support a credible and inclusive transition in each of the affected countries with the provision of adequate resources in the sub-region's response to peace and security.
The leaders have resolved to provide a robust regional response to any threat to security in the region. The regional response shall include the operationalization of the ECOWAS plan of action with the region's own troops and region's own financing.
Meanwhile, former President Goodluck Jonathan has also briefed the president on the situation in Mali.
Because we have a lot of challenges in the sub-region, and those are the things we are discussing. We have the crisis in Mali, crisis in Guinea, crisis in Burkina Faso. I am really handling Mali, but still oversighting others. So we came to put our heads together. I'm also the chair of the ECOWAS Council of the Wise, and so we hold meetings. Then we see the chair of the authority to have conversations on how to move things forward. So we just came back from the AU program in Nairobi. And I'm traveling tomorrow, so decided to come and brief him so we know how to move ahead with the ECOWAS challenges.
From the State House, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Now, talking economic growth, the federal government has assured Nigerians of the determination of the Tinubu administration in developing economic policies that will drive investment and create more jobs, especially in agriculture and digital sector. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the assurance when he received a board and management of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports.
Part of measures to achieve the goal of economic development, Vice President Kashim Shettima said the federal government will enhance engagement and partnerships with the private sector through the National Economic Council. On harnessing Nigeria's population for economic development, the anticipated demographic surge is a major factor. The Vice President said the country has the capacity to turn into economic gains. He said the Tinubu administration will focus on agriculture, digital education, and energy transition for infrastructural development. Chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Yusuf Olaniyi, said the visit was to congratulate the Vice President and offer the group's support for the Tinubu administration, especially in strategic areas of the economy. He said different sector experts from the group will always be available to provide technical and associated support for the National Economic Council and other key interventions by the federal government. From the State House, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return. Glad to know you're still there. And moving straight to erosion mitigation. The devastation of erosion on public and private infrastructure and its threat to livelihoods in communities across the country has prompted the Senate to suggest a holistic approach to tackle the menace. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Senate during Tuesday's plenary adopted resolutions to address erosions and other environmental challenges affecting communities in Nigeria.
Senators spoke unanimously on the issue of environmental challenge through motions sponsored by Senator Victor Ume, Senator Mande Okpebolo, and Senator Tony Ngugi.
Ravaging gully erosion and landslides on Onisha Owerri Federal Road. One lane of the affected road has been cut off completely by the gully erosion.
The Okene Auchi Benin Expressway, a major road infrastructure in Nigeria, began to fail at Ekpoma axis owing to several erosion gullies.
To reconstruct, rehabilitate the Onitsha 33 Otocha Dani Road, boundary to Enugu State. This road has dilapidated, thereby leading to loss of lives and properties.
The erosion has become
a very big problem in Abreba, in Ibere, my hometown, in Isukwato, in all along the express road going to Port Harcourt.
All these houses are under serious threat due to erosion. Some houses and livelihood has already gone.
I used to try to intervene when I was a governor, but it's very difficult. I have a secondary school in one of my towns they called Ikotekbene, which was the first experimental local government in West Africa. The entire dormitory, girls' hostel, all the buildings have been washed away. We may have to do a holistic approach to pick the different sites that are most affected and collate them and bring them to the attention of the authorities.
Equally of concern to the lawmakers is the plight of Ayetoro community of Ondo State, which is being threatened by sea incursion. Senator Jimo Ibrahim's call for investigation on the contract awarded to protect the shoreline was adopted.
The Ocean Surge has been the albatross of the Ayetoro community over the last 2 decades, with hundreds of homes and properties being destroyed annually. Conduct an investigation into the 6.5 billion shoreline protection contract awarded by NDDC in 2006 with a view to finding the alternative solution.
The private sector should be called upon to come in to assist in view of the strategic importance of this very community.
Senate resolves that relevant committees should engage concerned authorities and come up with modalities for immediate intervention. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And on extrajudicial killings, the House of Representatives has called for investigation and prosecution of security personnel found culpable of extrajudicial killings in parts of the country. The Green Chamber asked Tuesday's plenary in seeking justice over the alleged killing of a 2-year-old Ivan Onoseo Morina by a stray bullet allegedly fired by men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) in Asaba Delta State. National Assembly correspondent Mitare Pen reports on this and other deliberations of the House.
This petition is hereby
for lawmakers, the alleged extrajudicial killing of 2-year-old Ivan in Delta State is one incident too many.
Mandates the Committee on Human Rights, when constituted, to ensure that the family of Onosin are adequately compensated for their loss. Also mandates the Committee on National Security and Intelligence, when constituted, to effectively monitor the activities of law enforcement agencies. Most of the law enforcement agencies to be advised to have their active duty personnel wear body cameras. It is important that they know that this is one of the best work practices.
The House agreed that the presence of the anthrax disease in Nigeria requires urgent containment measures by the NCDC and Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
Concerned over the potential spread of the disease to other livestock farms in the country and its possible impact on the public health.
Several resolutions passed at Tuesday's plenary border on infrastructural development and the need to curb environmental pollution.
Discourage the destruction of vessel loading with stolen crude oil with a view to curbing environmental pollution in the Niger Delta region. We urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing and Federal Road Maintenance Agency to urgently consider dualizing the Benin-Abraka Road for ease of movement within the connected states. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to complete the construction of the damaged Akwanga Highway Bridge, monitor and ensure that quality materials are used for the construction of roads and bridges to avoid frequent collapse. Urgently provide control mentions on the federal roads in Ganaja flood-prone area of Ajakuta, Kogi State. These federal roads that are successfully cut off, the 5 southeastern states qualify to be declared a national emergency.
6 outstanding bills from the 9th Assembly are to be reconsidered at the Committee of the Whole, while 52 bills passed first reading. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Hickman, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed sadness over the death of 2-year-old Ivan Omorina, killed by a stray bullet during an operation by officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLA) at Okpanam in Osimili North local government area of Delta State. In a statement, the president mourned the death of little Ivan Omorina and sympathized with his parents for the painful experience of losing an innocent child in a most tragic manner. He also prayed for quick recovery of Eromosale, who was reportedly injured in that unfortunate event. He said the incident is unacceptable and those who foisted agony on the First Lady Miriam Babangida, a State House correspondent at Adeni Taiwo, reports that the 7 first women achievers were inducted into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame at the ceremony.
Until 1994, when the original name of the center was changed, the National Center for Women Development had, since its establishment in 1992, served as a monument to the contributions and sacrifice of Nigeria's former First Lady, late Miriam Babangida, to women emancipation and gender equality in Nigeria, giving back the center its original name to reflect the spirit and ideals of the late initiator is an act of parliament passed by the 9th Assembly and signed into law. And being one of the few women who helped push the process through the legislature, Nigeria's First Lady, Oloremi Tinubu, is rightly positioned to perform the renaming of the center. Said in so many words, the ceremony for her captured the essence of the service rendered by the late Miriam Babangida in not only bringing the office of the First Lady into prominence, but also in mainstreaming women agenda into national development.
I believe that Miriam Babangida National Center for Women Development carries a profound message of inspiration and aspiration for Nigerian women. Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Babangida's legacy as a passionate advocate for women's rights serves as a constant reminder of what can be achieved when society invests in women's development.
Applauding the late Miriam Babangida for bequeathing Nigerian women with emancipation, the First Lady charged women to identify and harness their own gift for societal development. In their separate remarks, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs, Munilola Udo, and the Director General of the Center, Asabe Vilita Bashir, said with its broad objective of promoting the strength embedded in women, the Center will continue to serve as a national repository to celebrate the achievement of women through research and advocacy.
As the only parastatal of the ministry, the Center continues to complement our efforts in the empowerment of women and girls in Nigeria.
Their joint activities led to the passage of the bill and subsequent transmission to the then President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. The role played by the immediate past Honorable Minister for Women Affairs in the success of the bill cannot be overemphasized.
While appreciating the federal government for the honor, son of the former First Lady, Mohammed Babangida, said the contribution of their mother to the nation is a legacy the family is proud of. From the Miriam Babangida National Center for Women Development, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, 8 more Nigerian women who have attained exceptional feats in different fields have been inducted into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame in the newly renamed Miriam Babangida National Center for Women Development. Prominent among these is the wife of the president, Senator Oloremi Tinubu. Ngozi Teknikio completes the story.
The nation's First Lady had earlier been inducted as a 3-time senator representing Lagos Central Senatorial District, and this time as the mother of the nation. Other inductees are Oluwatoyin Sekirat, who is the first female Accountant General of the Federation, Moibat Farida Dankaka as the first female Executive Chairman of the Federal Character Commission, Professor Ongwebi Maureen Etebu, first female Professor of Mechanical Engineering in the annals of Nigerian history. Also inducted are Erelu Bisi Adeleye Fayemi, the co-founder of Africans Women's Development Fund, Mojima Konjuola, first female international health correspondent in Africa and pioneer member of the Center for Disease Control, CDC, Atlanta, Toun Okewale, for being the first woman to establish a women's dedicated radio station in Nigeria, among others. The Nigerian Women Hall of Fame is the crescendo of recognition for any woman, as this projects and makes visible the achievements of such a woman in the record of national development. In Abuja, Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
Now, to an update of the NAF aircraft crash in Makinde, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has visited the two Nigerian Air Force pilots who successfully ejected from the crashed FT-79I trainer aircraft, which occurred on Friday, 14 July 2023 in Makinde. The pilots, who were flown to Abuja on the directive of the Chief of the Air Staff for extra medical care and attention, are in stable condition and recuperating well. Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, accompanied by the Nigerian Air Force Chief of Medical Services, Air Vice Marshal Anthony Ekpe, expressed delight on seeing the pilots, who were in high spirits and looking forward to getting back on their feet to resume work. The Chief of the Air Staff commended them for their courage and commitment to ongoing training efforts and counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism commitments, while assuring them of best medical care. Now, to religious matters, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has declared Wednesday, 19th July as the first day of Muharram, first month of the new Islamic calendar, year 1445 AH. A statement by the Secretary Advisory Council for Islamic Affairs to the Sultanate Council, Yahya Muhammad Boyi, indicates that no report of sighting of the new moon was received by the National Moon Sighting Committee from across the country. Therefore, Tuesday 18th is the 30th of Dhul Hijjah, the last day in the year 1444 AH. The Sultan felicitates with Nigerian Muslims, wishing them Allah's guidance and blessings, while urging Muslims to pray for peace, progress and development. Sultan Abubakar wishes them a happy new year. Now let's join Adiola in Lagos to keep us up to speed with happenings from the Center of Excellence. Adiola.
Thank you, Olajide. In renewing its commitment to stamping out all forms of illegal importation into the country, the Nigeria Customs Service has intercepted 31 rifles within 2 weeks of its anti-smuggling intervention in the month of July. The Acting Controller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, while showcasing the seizures in Lagos, says the discovery is a sign that the service has re-strategized its operations to heighten compliance with legitimate trade. Michael Olaleye reports.
A new dawn, a new vigor, marched with determination to put an end to illegal importation. But this time, dangerous consignments were caught in the web of the anti-smuggling crusade. The first consignment of the 3 intercepted within 2 weeks, according to the customs, is a product of joint operations at the PTML terminal in Lagos, in which 10 guns of different types, including 442 rounds of live ammunition and 14 empty magazines, were concealed in plastic drums.
The clearing agents, one Mr. Shokunbi Olanrewaju and Mr. Joseph Nwandiudo, who was expected to take delivery of the container, are currently detained as suspects in connection with the seizure.
Another 18 arms concealed in similar fashion were discovered at the Tinkan Island port after 100% physical examination of a 1x40-foot container, in addition to the latest, which occurred on the 12th of July 2023, involving a Toyota Camry loaded with 6 sacks of charcoal used to hide 3 pump-action rifles and 174 live cartridges along Owodi Agility axis of Ogun State.
The driver of the vehicle, who knew the content he was conveying, vis-a-vis the attendant consequences of his action before the law, jumped into the bush and escaped arrest. The services, human resources, and logistics are collectively harnessed to combat and prevent economic sabotage.
While explaining that most of the contrabands were imported from the United States to be delivered to the southeastern part of the country, the Acting Controller General of Customs reaffirms the readiness of the service to seamlessly deliver on its mandate, as stipulated in the Policy Advisory Council documents of the present administration. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And for auditors in the country to have a tradition of promoting good public finance management practices that can stand the test of review from any quarters as acceptable, the Program Coordinating Unit of State Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation organized a week-long training for southwestern states and local government auditors on financial audit methodology in Lagos. Larry Bilei completes the report.
It's a technical capacity building training program for these auditors from Lagos, Oyo, Ogun, Osun, Ekiti and Ondo states and their local governments on how to improve professional independence of the offices of auditors general in their states to strengthen transparent auditing of public finance.
Government deliberately want to train the auditors so that they can be able to check corruption by teaching them certain principles through the audit law, such that it can be checked in a technical and specific way.
The participants will be exposed to financial auditing methodology from planning to execution of auditing of all financial statements of states and local governments.
The training is going to be full of practices so that they will know what to be documented, how to avoid risk.
The training targets best ways to present justified audited financial statements, which the participants believe will go a long way in helping them perform optimally in their responsibilities.
Auditing is very dynamic and challenging. There is need for us to equip ourselves technically with technical skills so that we will be able to meet the requirements of the international best practices.
It is an opportunity for all the participants to train the subordinates and to enlighten them more about the audit work and how the audit work will be strengthened.
The training is also expected to be replicated in all geopolitical zones of the Federation with a Train the Trainers program of these selected participants who will go back to their states and cascade what they've learned down to other auditors. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And those are the stories making the round in Lagos at this time. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. Time to pay some bills. More reports shortly. Stay with us.
Glad to know you're still there. Now let's join Benny Adams for the business segment of the news. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide, and welcome to business. The Central Bank of Nigeria and the Central Bank of Egypt have signed a memorandum of understanding to establish a Nigeria-Egypt fintech bridge. The signing ceremony, which took place at the Seamless North Africa 2023 conference at the Egypt International Exhibition Center, Cairo, comes after a series of engagements on issues around payment systems, financial technology, and financial inclusion in Africa. The CBN Deputy Governor of Financial System Stability, Aisha Ahmad, who signed on behalf of the Central Bank, says the bank is excited by the partnership with the Central Bank of Egypt, which followed several months of engagement on payments, fintech, and financial inclusion. The groundbreaking partnership between the apex banks of the two largest economies in Africa encompasses a broad range of collaborative initiatives, including joint regulatory innovation projects, coordinated licensing and supervisory frameworks, information sharing, fintech, cross-referrals, and talent development. And Nigeria and the city of Houston, Texas, have agreed to improve their bilateral trading by adding non-oil trade to oil and gas, which as of today, Nigeria is Houston's 41st largest trading partner, with trade averaging $1.6 billion. A 30-man delegation from Houston came with proposals for direct flights from Nigeria to Houston, real estate, energy, and agro exports, among other economic activities, and were received by Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Evelyn Ngige.
Pursuant to the Initiative for Development of Special Economic Zones across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, in pursuit of the country's industrialization agenda, the city of Houston, Texas is encouraged to explore investment opportunities in these zones, especially the manufacturing and processing industries, in line with the federal government's economic sustainability plan. This will help to boost Nigeria's market share for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area's 1.2 billion market and beyond.
We believe with Nigeria's emphasis on energy, on trade, all of the things that the Permanent Secretary outlined, and that there is a lot of synergies between Houston and Nigeria.
And now taking a look at the markets, Nigeria's equities appreciated further on Tuesday by 1.31%, recording 448 billion naira. At the end of trading today on the exchange, a total of 868.8 million shares in 8,970 deals, corresponding to a market value of 42.8 billion were traded. Compared with previous trading day, today's data shows 22% improvement in volume and 210% improvement in turnover. The current market capitalization is 34.7 trillion naira. FCMB Group recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by Jopol Gold, Ventures, and Dangote Cement. Well, that is business news. Olajide is over to you for more news.
Many thanks, Benny. And moving on now to a Nigerian breaking ground in the international arena. The former special advisor to the president on ease of doing business, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, has been appointed senior fellow at Harvard University Kennedy School of Government in the United States of America. An appointment letter highlights that Dr. Oduwole will be affiliated with the Musarba Romani Center for Business and Government from 1st July 2023 through 30th June 2024. Professor Sokosa Sa knows that Dr. Oduwole was subjected to a rigorous screening process from a large and strong pool of globally acclaimed high achievers, which shows only a few individuals are invited to be senior fellows each year. The university believes that Dr. Oduwole will make a valuable contribution to the center, Harvard Kennedy School, and effective public policy. Dr. Oduwole taught at Faculty of Law, University of Lagos, served the 8th year of Buhari administration, first as Senior Special Assistant to the President on Industry, Trade and Investment, and then as Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business and Pioneer Secretary to the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. Under her watch, Nigeria moved up an unprecedented 39 places in the World Bank's Doing Business rankings and was twice recognized as a top 10 economy in 3 years for impactful reforms that created a more conducive environment for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to thrive. From 2013 to 2015, Professor Oduwole was holder of the Prince Claus Chair in Development and Equity at the International Institute of Social Studies, The Hague, Netherlands. She is a 2013 Archbishop Desmond Tutu Fellow, African Leadership Institute, South Africa, an inaugural member of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Amaji Initiative 2020 and was in 2022 selected as member of the 6th cohort of African Leadership Initiative West Africa, Aliwa, in 2022. Jumoke was appointed governance advisor to Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT Governance Lab, another leading academic institution, for her innovative strides in governance, and has been the recipient of a number of awards, including a National Honor Member of the Order of the Federal Republic. Now to political matters. The All Progressives Congress described as mischievous and intentionally misleading tweet by one Mr. Jackson Ude, who alleged the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a telephone conversation with the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola. National Publicity Secretary of APC, Felix Moka, in a statement said Mr. Ude fabricated a falsehood on a matter of serious national importance that is actively under review by the Presidential Election Petitions Court. The statement adds that President Tinubu and the APC won the February 25th, 2023 presidential election without a doubt and do not have any need to engage inside conversations with CGN regarding pending petitions before the PEPC. The APC expressed confidence that Nigerians are smarter and more discerning than to be affected by the opposition brand of tasteless and crass mercenary expedition. You're still watching the network news. Another break beckons. More reports when we return. Do stay with us. Many thanks for being there. And up next is the weather forecast for Wednesday, 19th July 2023.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday's weather forecast. The prospect of morning rains to parts of Edo, Lagos, Delta and Cross River states, while parts of Sokoto, Kebbi, Taraba and Adamawa have prospect of very early morning thunderstorms. Later during the day, there are prospects of thunderstorms to the north, although these prospects are slimmer to parts of the northeast, which is connected to the present dry spell being experienced across this region, causing very little or no rains, as predicted by the NIMET seasonal climate prediction for the months of June and July 2023. And to the north-central parts of the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Benue and Kogi states are expected to experience thunderstorms, while more chances of rains are anticipated to the southern region of the country. That's all for the forecast. I'm Theodore Item. Thank you for watching.
And that concludes the network news. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.